Welcome to Truth with Consequences with Vince Russo. Vince, we had a show last week on Killer Queens, how Vince McMahon buried them and how Stephanie exploits them. Anything you wanted to follow up on from last week, or any criticisms or questions you got, or anything from last week at all?
Yeah, I want people to understand, bro, because I don't want to browbeat Vince McMahon. I don't want to browbeat Stephanie McMahon. But the thing that ticks me off is don't bullshit me, man. When something is what it is, just say it, and like we'll all be okay. I feel like I'm talking for a lot of people that see through it and feel the way I am. We're not idiots, bro. Like, the worst thing you could do is insult the intelligence of the audience. Shame on you if that's what you do. And I want to make that clear to everybody.
And if you want everything to be really clear to you, make sure to check out our Patreon. Our Patreons got such a special bonus last week because, Vince, you and I are kind of crazy. We recorded the show last week and we liked it. It was good, but we felt it could be better, so we recorded it again before we put it out to our Patreons. And we were good with it. And come Saturday, before the show comes out at midnight, we're talking in the afternoon and we're talking about little adjustments we can add or record or I can edit. And you just text me and you say, do you want to record it again? And I was like, yeah, I guess we should record it again. And I think it was a good move. I think the show turned out great. And I hope the Patrons enjoyed getting not just one show last week, but 2 shows last week for no added charge. Of course, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/RussoCoonTWC. And of course, if they want to check out more of Vince Russo, they can do so on russosbrand.com, where you're doing 10 shows a week. And you can join this month for free.
Yeah, absolutely free, bro. If you've never sampled the brand, 10 shows a week for less than $1. There's a show every day with a different co-host every day. Stevie Richards, Disco Inferno, Vito Lagrasso, Ben Hameen, Goldilocks, Castrating the Marks. But for the month of December, if you've never sampled it, you can do it for a month free with no long-term commitment, bro. You can opt out after that month if you want to. Just go to russosbrand.com. And another thing, Matt, I want to say about the Patreon. One thing about the Patreon was I booked WrestleMania for 2019. And I swear to you, bro, I mean this as a shoot. I wish they would use that. I really do. And, bro, like, I would not want credit. I would not say, nah, you use my – bro, I welcome them. I welcome them to look at my card, use it free of charge, no pats on my back, nothing. Why? Because I want to see a great WrestleMania this year. That's why.
Vince, I think you might say nah. Like, there's no way to hell if they used your card.
No. I'm serious. I'm doing it. I'm saying, guys, you're not. I'm telling you, you're not gonna book a better card than this. Use this card. It is yours, free of charge.
I will tell you that other people might want to see you use that card, and that includes some current talent.
Oh, you mean the current guy that they last night? Like, are we talking about that guy? Are you freaking kidding me? Is that who we're talking about?
I can't say, but I will say this. Thank you guys for subscribing to our YouTube channel. By the time this show airs, we will be at 1,000 subscribers. So check out our YouTube soon for a bonus show for everybody. YouTube.com/RussoCoonTWC, or just go to RussoCoon.com. Now, I think that's enough plugs for now. Let's kind of talk about what we're going to do this week. And people have given us a little feedback on Twitter saying, I thought the show was going to be this. I thought the show was going to be that. But I'm going to tell you, Truth with Consequences, we're going to do a lot of old stories that you've never heard before. We're going to do some stuff like the Jim Cornette show. We're going to do some stuff like what we did last week. But
speaking of Jim Cornette, let me interrupt you there, Matt. Keep your thought, bro.
Okay, don't start anything with the man, please.
I'm just want to say, I mean, bro, God. David Arquette, like, you're going to pick on David Arquette now. Matt, have you ever met David Arquette?
I believe I will be meeting him this weekend. I love David Arquette.
Matt, when you meet him personally, I am telling you that there isn't a nicer, down-to-earth guy. You would never in a million years think this guy is straight out of Hollywood. He's got a family that's Hollywood royalty. The guy was married to Courtney Cox. You would never. He is so freaking humble and so down-to-earth and the nicest guy you can ever imagine. And there, of course, I see yesterday, Cornette throwing insults and barbs at the guy. And it's like, I mean, Jim, like freaking David Arquette, man. I mean, come on. The guy doesn't have a hateful bone in his body, man.
Did I ever tell you about the email I got from Jim Cornette after we started the show?
Yeah, but you might want to tell the people on Twitch. It's kind of like a follow-up to the show.
It's hilarious. Basically, I wrote him because he said some stuff on Twitter. I said, look, you and I don't have any issues. And he wrote me the most epic email of all. Just imagine it, and it's that. But, one of the quotes is, if I cut off my best friend for associating with Vince Russo, then I don't give fuck all about you, which I thought was a great quote. And maybe one day I'll post it to the Patreon because I think I'm going to frame it. But David Arquette, of course, supporter of the show, retweets the show, listens to the show. We love David Arquette. And even David Arquette said, he goes, and I say this all the time. Matt, to tie this back in with the dirt sheets, I say this all the time. David Arquette basically said, like, okay, bro, if you don't agree with me wrestling, okay. But like when you cross that personal line, I'm a piece of shit, I'm this, I'm that, it's like it's a little much. I say the same exact thing, man. If you don't like my writing, bro, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But it's like when you cross that line for no reason. I don't know, bro, if you do it for attention. I don't know if your body is full of hate. If we're going to be fair to Jim Cornette, and he says as much in his email to me, he's got a temper issue, he's got anger problems, and then plus that, he's got no filter. But what you're saying is totally true. I think what Arquette said was you don't have to be an asshole to share your opinion.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
But but it's fair because I think, David Arquette is doing everything that anybody would expect anybody to do if you're going to pay your dues. And he's doing it in his 40s after winning the title, after all the attention he got. And, earlier in his life, I don't see how anybody can say anything bad about David Arquette. But I think we should move on to what we're going to talk about this week, which is Vince McMahon's filter being Vince Russo. Now, Vince, you and I have talked about Raw a lot, current product a lot. This episode is going to be different from any episode we've ever done. It's going to be all focused on the current product, coupled with the fact that some people, including some writers, have said some things recently about your Nitro shows not being as good as the Raw product today, as bad as it is. And we're going to show them differently. That's your plan, right?
We're going to get into, me filtering Vince and breaking this freaking thing down and rebuilding it. Bro, every 3-hour show, there isn't one story, there isn't one angle. Everybody is wrestling because they're wrestlers and they're mad at each other and they don't like each other. It's like, bro, every week. I used to accuse TNA of this many, many years ago. I would accuse TNA. It's like these people don't live 6 days out of the week. Whatever they do the other 6 days out of the week, who knows? But on Monday night, they all show up at the same arena and they fight because they don't like each other. TNA used to freaking do that, and it used to drive me nuts. But we're not talking about TNA, bro. We're talking about the greatest wrestling company in the freaking world. My God, bro, we have all lowered the bar so far. We're looking for anything, man.
So starting in 2001, as you see it, because that's when the ratings decline began, what went wrong in your mind?
Here's the first thing. Here's the very first thing, Matt. I should have worn my wrestling bubble shirt today. Man, what's the name of our company? That's apparel.
What's Apparel? You can find our shirts at shirtsoftruth.com. But What's Apparel is making some waves, so check them out. Make sure to pick up your Russo's Club or your wrestling bubble or the many shirts we have that make fun of the way Vince pronounces things.
Yeah, they made a wrestling bubble shirt for me that I love. I should have worn it today for this show. That's where it all starts. You have writers, bro. Me and Ed Ferrara. Now, bro, I got to set the background a little bit. I don't want to be long-winded, but people have to know this stuff, Matt. Ed Ferrara was a professional television writer before he started writing Raw. Ed Ferrara wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the television show. Ed Ferrara wrote Weird Science, the television show. Ed Ferrara wrote, you ready for this?
Go ahead.
A movie. You know what movie that was? A Monsters Christmas. Very nice. Okay.
Who could forget A Monsters Christmas?
I have that on DVD, bro. I have it on DVD. But my point is, this was a television writer. So when Ed Ferrara and myself took over the show, okay, bro, here's the first thing that we see. Everybody in the wrestling bubble is a babyface or a heel. Okay? Everybody either does everything with a bad nature, or everybody either does everything with a good nature. Here's a perfect example of that, Matt. When you look back in the day, when somebody turns from babyface to heel, every single thing about that person changes overnight. They talk differently. They act differently because now they're a heel.
They have different friends.
The whole thing, right, bro.
Your contention is that in today's wrestling, the bad guy, good guy thing is completely outdated.
Oh, today it was outdated. We really changed it, 1996, 1997. Here's the problem. It's 2018. They're still freaking doing it.
But how do you reconcile that with the fact that there are certain people that wrestling fans want to be invested in winning and certain fans that wrestling fans want to be invested in losing? It's not like you can sit, your nightmare is people sitting back there and enjoying how good the match is. How do we get people to root for people and root against them?
Now, who cares if they cheer or boo? Who freaking cares? The bottom line is you want them to be invested in the character because we're all different. Some people are going to love a person. You got a whole bunch of other people that are going to hate that same person. It doesn't matter. That is up to you whether you love the guy or whether you cheer the guy. Here's the question. Will you pay money to see him? That's the freaking question. Perfect example. Rowdy Piper. I've been watching a lot of Piper videos on TV lately. Bro, you either hated the guy or there was a huge fan base that freaking loved the guy. Are you going to put on the television show because Piper is on the show? Who cares how you react?
But Piper drew money and is the height of his career because people wanted to see Jimmy Snuka and Hulk Hogan beat him. They want to see him. He's a star. They want to see him. But they wanted to see him get his ass kicked.
That's not true, Matt, because you're speaking for me, and that is absolutely not true.
But with your
there were a lot of people like me out there, Matt. A lot of absolutely not true. I loved Piper because I thought Piper was a badass. I didn't want to see it. I could care less if Jimmy Superfly Snuka beat him up.
You talk about Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania being popular. Piper's heel work and bad guy work wasn't a huge part of that?
It was a huge part of that. But again, Matt, look at the time you're going back to, bro. You're talking pre-90s again. You're going back to a totally different time. Bro, reality TV changed everything. Reality TV changed everything because you would put on reality TV. The first show that I was influenced by and the very first reality show was The Real World on MTV. That was like the first reality show. Bro, when we started the Attitude Era, that was the only reality show on. There was none of this shit going on. So all of a sudden, what happens, bro? You tune into the first episode. Oh, wow, that girl's hot. she seems really nice. Oh, that girl's the girl next door. Blah blah blah. You see these people, and your mind draws a certain picture of these people, but then all of a sudden, you're seeing how these people act, how they carry themselves, how they interact, and all of a sudden, somebody that you thought was the girl next door is Miss Biatch. And now all of a sudden, you can't take your eyes off the television screen. Bro, I don't know if you know anything about Teen Mom, but there was a teen mom by the name of Farrah Abraham who was a monster. This girl was a monster. I was obsessed with watching that show. So you got to understand, bro, when reality TV kicks in and we are seeing shades of gray with all these people, which is a shoot, when all of a sudden, bro, you put on wrestling and I'm a heel, I'm going to do everything bad, and I'm a baby face and I'm going to do everything good. It is so freaking unbelievable. It makes you want to vomit in your own mouth. They continue to do that and have been doing it for 18 years because the writers left.
Well, I do agree with you that, and I think Vince McMahon put it in his speech that I think you might have retweeted or saw this week, where he gave a speech like, "We are beyond good guys and bad guys."
Yeah, him and I had that conversation, and I said, bro, Matt, here's the funny thing. Everything I said to you now, I said to Vince McMahon 20 years ago. That's what ignited that speech. It was like, bro, forget the fake wrestling bullshit. We got to bring this up to speed. You got to make people, believe in these characters and believe what's going on. And there are two things. These are the two main things that are out the window today. Freaking baby faces and heels are bullshit, bro. It is bullshit. Good people do bad things. Bad people do good things. Everybody. Matt, you consider yourself a good guy?
I do.
Have you ever done anything bad?
Every day.
Okay. Here's the second thing. Bro. Logic. How would these people logically act in certain situations? Let's get back to today. How many Ronda Rousey fights did you ever see in the UFC?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, how many did you see her come down to the aisle, to the mat, to the fight, slapping hands with a big smile on her face with the fans? How many times have you seen that in UFC?
I would say 0.0.
0. Okay, who goes to a fight smiling? Nobody but Ronda Rousey. And Ronda has said, Vince McMahon told me to do that. Why did Vince McMahon do that? Because to Vince McMahon, Ronda Rousey is a babyface. So now Ronda's got to go down to the ring, the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, slapping hands, giving away whatever she's giving away, because in 2018, that is her direction from Vince McMahon, because she's a babyface. You are going to a fight. No human being on this planet is going to walk into a fight smiling. Nobody, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
So that goes to both your points, tying in the logic aspect of we've seen her fight before and she never acts like that. And also that shades of gray approach was a crucial part of the Austin character, was a crucial part of, the NWO or any successful wrestling endeavor that's happened. What other examples?
Matt, can we trace that back though, please? Because I want everybody to understand all this. When you talk about Austin shades of gray, Rock shades of gray, when you talk about all that shit, again, it gets back to logic. How would these characters logically act in this situation? You've got to know every character inside and out, bro. You got to know what's going on in their mind. You got to know what they're thinking. You've got to know them almost like you gave birth to them. I've got to know Austin's psyche. What's going on in his mind? What makes him tick? How is he going to react? I have to know that. Bro, if you don't know your characters on that deep of a level because you haven't developed them successfully, then you're writing a story, and now all of a sudden, bro, everybody is acting the same. A heel is acting like a heel. A baby face is acting like a baby face because you yourself don't know who that character is. Can I throw another? You want to talk about today's?
Sure.
Sasha Banks, the boss. Okay? Why she's the boss, we have no idea. I don't care what they did in NXT. I did not watch NXT. You cannot assume the people watching Raw watched NXT. So I saw Sasha wrestle maybe once or twice in NXT. Then she comes to the WWE. She's the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. We don't know why she's the boss. Okay, now, Bayley. Okay, Bayley. Bayley comes out, the ponytail, the big floaty gimmicks, the whole 9 yards, poppy bubblegum tune. She loves the kids. Okay, right there. Stop right there, bro. Why is somebody who is the boss, what comes with the word boss? I like to boss people around. I like to tell people what to do. I'm better than everybody. How in God's name with a character with the boss be best buds with this girl that is the total opposite of what she is? You know, she's a hugger. She's a hugger. She's got balloons coming out. She loves little kids. That's not logical. That's not logical. And listen, again, base it on their friendship in NXT. I didn't freaking watch NXT. So why are these two completely different people friends?
So let's put Vince McMahon in the WWE through the Vince Russo filter. Do something with Ronda Rousey, Bayley, and Sasha. Fix them. How do we fix them?
Here's the first thing I would do. Why is Sasha the boss? Give me a little background of why she's the boss. Even if you got to do like a little sit down, whatever you have to do. Why is she I need to know why she is the boss. Okay. I need to know why Bayley hugs everybody. I need to understand her fascination with hugging. Now, Matt, here's the problem. I was reading a little bit on Sasha's background yesterday, and I had no idea. But from what I'm reading of her background, she's nowhere near the boss. I mean, my God, she had a very tough childhood. Her father left at a very early age. She had to take care of her brother. In order for a character to really get over and to really, be as accepted as possible, they've got to be an extension of themselves. So if all of a sudden I'm the writer and Bayley and Sasha walk in my room, the first thing I'm doing is I'm having a conversation with them and I'm digging deep inside. What is there about this person that separates them from everybody else? What makes them emotional? What is important to them? I'm really digging, looking for that. Once I find that now I blow that up 1,000,000 times over. Now we magnify that. Why do you do that, Matt? Here's why you do it. Because these people are not actors. They go to wrestling school. They don't go to acting school. They go to wrestling school. So in order for them to be believable, it's got to be something that's real in them. Because now they're not acting. Now it's real. Now they really feel passionate about these things. So now you don't have to, like a Nia Jax, you don't have to put her in front of people and force her to make the people believe what she's saying. The person saying it has to believe it. And if you believe it, your audience is going to believe it. So that's number one. Who is Sasha Banks? Really, who is she deep down inside? Let's get that out. Let's magnify it 100 times over. And you're going to do that with every person on the roster, Matt.
And the same with Bayley, where you said maybe establish some backstory on her.
Absolutely.
With Sasha, you're saying maybe there needs to be some examination of that. And maybe the boss thing could be ironic, or maybe it could mean something else, or maybe she's not the boss. Maybe she's something else.
Right.
And you're saying that.
And then of course, then you get into the vignettes. Okay, then we take that character, we put them in real settings. Please, I mean, guys, you gotta go outside of the building. You gotta see these people in other environments outside of a freaking arena, bro. But then we gotta shoot the vignettes, and we've got to develop that character to make people understand this is who Sasha Banks is. Now, once they understand, now they're either going to like her or they're either not going to like her. They're going to draw their own conclusions, but at least they understand who that character is.
And from what you're saying, it's also much easier to be yourself than it is to play a role because you're not an actor, you're not a trained actor. Where would you place, let's go ahead and put a bow on the women's division of Raw real quick. Where would you place the women's division in importance, in hierarchy, in the overall show to make it a more effective 3 hours?
Matt, you really don't place it anywhere. You let everything happen organically, man. If you have these women, if these women are all over and they all have, people understand the characters, they're all stars in their own right. They don't just go out there and wrestle every week. I mean, I can go down the list. Who the freak is Alicia Fox? Well, here's what I know about Alicia Fox. She looks a little bit like Rihanna, so I get turned on. Outside of that, I don't know. Like, I don't know anything. And we've seen them stop and go with her. We've seen the captain's hats, and they'll shoot a vignette, and she's a little crazy, and she's a little over the top, and then all of a sudden we don't hear from her for 2 months. Treat every one of the women like you would treat the men. Get the freaking characters over. Make people care. Then let it happen organically. We just talked about Sable last week. That wasn't a plan. That was not a plan. Sable happened organically. Bro, the people will dictate the show to you if they understand the show. They will tell you what we want, what we don't want. Vince McMahon isn't the filter. The people are the freaking filter. They will tell you what's getting over and what's not getting over.
So as far as the men now, let's go ahead and go to some of the characters and how you would fix them. Let's start kind of at the top. Braun Strowman is missing. Braun Strowman has been effective in kind of establishing a big reaction from the crowd, which is something you like. What would you do with a Braun Strowman?
Well, I don't know what I would do because they've killed him. I mean, bro, I swear to God, bro, they might as well have just cut the guy's freaking twig and berries off. Matt, I think it was this time last year. I mean, bro, this is what I mean where I'm like, Vince McMahon was my filter? Like, are you serious? I think it was this time last year. It might have been 2 years ago. They're trying to build Braun Strowman, First of all, nobody talks like that. No, nobody talks like I'm a monster. If you run into Braun Strowman in a bar, he's not going to talk to you like that. So, I'm big, so I'm a monster, so I got to talk like this now. Like, really, bro? Like, serious? Andre the Giant didn't talk like a freaking monster, for crying out loud. Okay, but let me get back, Matt. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. They're building this monster. He talks like a monster, so he must be a monster. And what do, bro? They got him running around in an elf suit.
Yeah,
And you're trying to make people afraid of this guy, and you're doing a poor job at it. Making him talk like a monster. These hands, I don't know what the F that means. Putting freaking Kevin Owens in a porta potty because Vince likes bathroom humor, and then on top of that, we're gonna put him in an elf suit. Now we see his soft, cuddly side. Who the F is this guy? Who is this guy?
You would humanize him. You would make people know who he is and take advantage of who he was personally? Is that what you're saying?
If you're that big, do you really have to talk in a scary monster voice? Or are you going to intimidate people because you're that freaking big? Matt, to this day, and everybody will tell you and you know it, the fiercest guy, the guy as a shoot, you feared most in the history of wrestling was Ming. Okay, bro. Did Ming carry himself like no, bro. When you're that big, the less you say is more. And what you don't want to do, Matt, is you don't want to light the monster up. It's the Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk thing.
Right.
You don't want to freaking bro, I'm going to be cool with you. I'm going to be laid back with you. I'm going to be cool because look at my size. I can kill you if I want to, but I don't want to, so I'm going to be cool. But when you press the buttons of the monster, he is going to react like anybody else. He doesn't need to talk like a monster for us to think he's a monster. That's cartoon bullshit.
There's an interesting point about Braun Strowman about ignoring his real-life personality. You know, he has a tattoo. We've all seen it. It's on the inside of his arm. I think it's the state of Tennessee, and it says Country Strong, right? Yep. That's really who he is. I mean, that's who he is to the point where he tattooed it on his body, but they've never mentioned it. They've never talked about what it means.
Right, because in Vince's mind, the filter, look at Braun Strowman. He's a monster, so we've got to make him a monster. But yet, you're putting him in an elf suit.
Well, goddamn, pal, he's an elf suit. It's hilarious.
I guess.
Hey, what did you like it when he was like pushing over ambulances and tearing down the scene?
I liked it, but again, Matt, here's the mistake they made. They did too much too soon. So all of a sudden, he's doing these tremendous feats of strength, and everything he was going to do after that was going to pale in comparison. You had to build to that super strength. They did it off the bat. So after they ran out of things to do, everything he started doing, it was like, well, probably any other wrestler on the card can do that. Like, turning a stage over on somebody. I bet you Roman Reigns could do that. I bet you there's a lot of people on the card. So they did so much so soon. They didn't build up to the super strength, and they had nowhere to go with it.
You've often mentioned that there is an overriding creative issue to wrestling where the creativity, the creative process, the writing is the most important thing, but it takes a special talent to kind of overcome it sometimes. How do you think Drew McIntyre has been doing as far as, still establishing his character, still getting over? What could be done to improve Drew right now, even though he appears to be the best positioned on the Raw roster?
The best position on the Raw roster, he got beat by Dolph Ziggler. Like, are you effing kidding me, bro? Like, I swear to Vince, like, are you high? Are you smoking pot before these shows? That's why I believe, there's no doubt in my mind, you can't be that ignorant. You can't be that ignorant. There is no doubt in my mind. Triple H said it in to Ryback. Nobody's getting over. Nobody's getting over. Nobody's going to be bigger than the company. There's no doubt that's the game plan. When you see a guy as special as Drew freaking McIntyre, and you're beating him with Dolph Ziggler, who you've turned Dolph Ziggler into nothing, nothing. Why, bro? Why? Unless you're purposely doing it because you don't want anybody to get over.
So that's another element that you've alluded to before. You truly believe that the WWE is putting the brakes on characters just to keep them from getting popular?
Absolutely, which is effing ludicrous.
It's one thing to say, yes, we do not want a Hulk Hogan again. We don't want a Steve Austin again. We don't want a Rock again. The brand is bigger than any wrestler. But it's another thing to say when a guy starts taking off, they purposefully cool him down. That you're 100% on that. That's kind of a hot take. I think people should have some reaction to that.
I mean, again, logic. Is Dolph Ziggler going to beat Drew McIntyre in a fight anytime soon? I doubt it. I freaking doubt it. So you're looking at that and you're like, now, bro, Drew McIntyre would be my guy. Drew McIntyre would be my guy. So now I'm saying, wait a minute. Dolph Ziggler just beat Drew McIntyre? How is Drew McIntyre ever going to be competition for Brock Lesnar?
If Vince Russo was there in the WWF and had the writing power that you once had and had the ear of Vince you once had, if they were willing to put stars above the marquee as they were at one time, would Drew McIntyre be the guy who might get on that Mount Rushmore alongside John Cena, Austin, Rock, Hogan? Would that be the guy?
Absolutely, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, bro. He is unique. Guys like him don't come along often, bro. And, you know, the one thing when you have somebody like that, he's got to be protected. I was beside myself last night. I don't even get mad because I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, bro. You've shown us nobody's going to get over. We're going to build somebody so high, then we're going to knock them down a few pegs. We're going to build them up. We're going to knock them down a few pegs. I get it, bro. We've seen the routine. You guys are idiots. Like, honestly, if you think that your company doesn't need stars, what am I tuning in for then? What am I tuning in to see? What do I want to see on your television show? I want to see freaking stars, bro. I want to see stars on TV, in the movies, on a ball field. Everybody wants to see freaking stars. Well, what would the freaking WWE do if this was freaking, if they had LeBron James? Sit him on the bench for half the game, bro, because he might score 50 points and people might want to pay money to see him.
Drew McIntyre is a guy you want on Good Morning America. If you've had a conversation with the guy, you know this is a guy who could represent the company in the kind of dignified way that John Cena did for a long time. But you're saying there will never be a situation like that because they will purposely put the brakes on anyone who starts to explode.
That was the thing, man. When I could get Vince alone, I could talk logic to him. When there wasn't all the wrestling bubble bullshit, one-on-one, I could talk logic to him. And this is a situation where if him and I were riding alone in a room like we were many times, I would be saying these same things to him. Like, Vince, are you freaking kidding me? Like, do you not see how special this guy is? You know, he's got to be protected. He's got to be a priority. And I know I would be able to get through to him. And I know that at the end of the day, he would see that. That was the thing with me, bro. If something was political, I would say, are you freaking kidding me? The guy can draw money.
I liked the turn, but then we had a match. Then we had a match where it went on forever, right? That was the one thing. I don't mind, personally, Drew losing in a screw job. How would Vince Russo have booked that? You wouldn't have had a match that last night, would you have, at all?
Well, Matt, first of all, can I tell you what, like, and this is why people don't like me. And bro, I don't care if you don't like me, guys.
It's because you're from New York. That's
it's
why.
from I'm New York. It's two things, Matt. It's New York. I know this shit isn't real, and I'm watching a television show. I want to believe the television show. I don't want to laugh at the television show. I don't want the television show to insult my intelligence. I want to believe it.
We all want to believe. We all want that moment where we can say, just the split second where we say, is this real?
And you know how they like took that away from me with one full swoop. McIntyre is up in the match. Ziggler's down selling. Okay? Freaking Finn Balor comes out to the stage. And the camera's going back between Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre. And I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like, are you effing kidding me? You look at the difference between these two freaking guys. Logically, look at the freaking difference. Drew McIntyre would use Finn Balor as an effing toothpick. Now, anybody at home that is not invested in the Bullet Club and Finn Balor and anybody who's not invested in that, they're looking at these two guys and they're saying, really? Like, really? So Finn Balor should not be in Drew McIntyre's league. When you're talking about Drew McIntyre now, you should be talking about the Brock Lesnar's. You should be talking about the Bobby Lashley's. You know, if Roman Reigns was around, if Braun Strowman was around, these are the guys in that category. I mean, you did not have a 150-pound guy challenging Hulk Hogan. That was never. You did not believe Tito Santana was going to be a threat to Hulk Hogan.
Okay, well, hold on.
So that picture right off, but that's not enough. I'll even give him a pass on that.
What about Piper, though? Piper was much smaller than Hulk
because
Hogan.
He had that. If he snapped, and bro, he was painted a picture as being dirty. He'd kick you in the balls. He'd freaking bite you. He'd do whatever he had to do. That's how you painted Piper.
What is your problem with Finn Balor? Like, a lot's been made.
He doesn't belong. He doesn't belong. He doesn't belong, okay, bro. He doesn't. If you want to put Finn Balor on 205, fine. Put him on 205. He can probably take those guys. Finn Balor cannot take Drew McIntyre. It is not believable to a casual viewer. Not believable, Matt.
Finn Balor has got a lot of charisma. He's got a lot of presence. He looks great in the ring.
Well, let me. Time out. Don't be. See, you're rattling off all these things that other people. What charisma? What's Finn Balor's charisma? What's his charisma, Matt? What charisma? He comes out and does this. That's charisma. Tell me what Finn Balor's charisma. I love the Demon. You want to be the Demon every week? I'll buy into that. There's something mystical about the Demon. I'll buy that. What's the charisma of Finn Balor? He's got twinkly blue eyes?
I mean, he does, but that's
okay.
That's not the point.
Tell me what the charisma is, Matt.
I don't know how you can quantify charisma in anybody, but I'll say that there's something about Finn Balor that I've seen that connects with the crowd, and the crowd likes him. I think he's got a lot.
Can we substitute crowd for Marks?
I was at Survivor or SummerSlam when he won the title, 18,000 people. It's not just, those are a lot of casual fans going to a SummerSlam. I mean, I've been in that room. I've seen the reaction to him. And I think there is an opportunity to tell a story with Finn and Drew. I don't think. Okay,
so you're telling me, and and if you believe this, I'm not going to argue with you. Sure. I mean, it's fine. You're telling me the way these characters have been portrayed, the way these characters look, you are honestly telling me that you think Finn Balor could be a threat to Drew McIntyre.
Honestly, those are two different things. The way they're portrayed, I don't think Finn has been portrayed the way he could have been. But absolutely, I think Finn can pull that off in the ring the way that very few in wrestling history could, as far as being an undersized guy. I think his presence is bigger. But that's also, like I said, it's hard to quantify, so it's an opinion. Sometimes a guy like you and a guy like me look at a wrestler, and I say he's got it, and you say he doesn't have it. And that's just opinions, And a lot's been made of your criticism of Finn over the years. I think it's fair to say, and it's not something that you can get shit on for, you look at Finn Balor and you just don't get it. And that's totally cool, right?
Well, first of all, I got nothing against Finn Balor, bro. I know Finn Balor's backstory. I know. He always wanted to be a wrestler. He got all the wrestling magazines and all that. I get all that. I don't have an issue with Finn Balor. I don't dislike Finn Balor. Go ahead, Matt.
What if they acknowledge his size a little bit? What if they acknowledge the fact?
But exactly, that's right. What I'm saying. Finn Balor is a great wrestler. Finn Balor is a world-class blue chip athlete. I don't take that away from him. Bro, the guy's gorgeous looking. Okay, he's got the twinkly blue eyes. He's got all these things going for him. But I don't believe physically, and again, this has a lot to do with the way they've built him. They have not made me believe in any way, shape, or form Finn Balor could be a threat to a guy like Drew McIntyre. In other words, if they were in a bar, let's put these guys in a real life setting in a bar.
If I'm being honest, Finn Balor is much smaller than me, and Drew Drew McIntyre is much bigger than me. That guy is legit 6'6", 6'7", and we're talking a broad-shouldered, gigantic human being. There's no way in a real life situation you can see them. But we're talking creative.
That's what I'm saying. If they're in a bar, Drew McIntyre's married, I believe. Is he still married? He's married?
I believe he's married, yes.
He's married, okay? Drew McIntyre goes to the bathroom, okay? Drew McIntyre comes out and sees Finn Balor hitting on his wife. What's that going to look like? Like, in the real world, what is that going to look at? That's why I don't have anything against Finn Balor. Nothing. I'm sure he's a hell of a nice guy. But putting him in that position, nobody's buying it unless you're a mark.
So let's put the Finn Balor thing in perspective. We did on our Patreon a WrestleMania booking by Vince Russo. You weren't into it at first, and then you totally embraced it, and you, in my estimation, kicked ass. I got to say, when I told my son the card when he came home Sunday, he was ecstatic about it. You said something very interesting about Finn Balor on that I think you should share with everybody here. We talked about how maybe if you acknowledge the size, maybe if you embrace the character a little bit, but you're not sure you get Finn Balor, but you would get the Demon, right?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, I would get the Demon. I mean, bro, I remember the first time I saw the Demon on NXT and, the presentation. And I remember the first time I see it. But see, bro, here's a problem too. Bro, when he comes out as the Demon, okay, bro, he tends to wrestle like Finn Balor. You see, bro, that doesn't fly. There should be something about, bro, the Demon could be money, but they would really have to work on that character.
That kind of ruined it for you, the Drew thing. Let's say that, WWE or Vince, you're working and you're filtering what Vince is doing. The moment on Raw this week where Drew turns, how would you have booked that? And also
destroyed him. He would have destroyed him.
You know what I think was missing for me, and if I was, of course, we all think we can write, and even us creatives, we all think we can do everything. I would have had Dolph Ziggler sell fear more. He was selling heartbreak, but he should have been scared to death.
Yeah.
How would you have done it?
And that's the thing, Matt. Again, another big key word, Matt, is consistency. Consistency. You got to be consistent with these characters every week. Consistency. Bro, we just saw Drew McIntyre take apart Kurt Angle. Right. You see what I'm saying? You got to be
brutal and decisive fashion.
Yes, you got to be. You can't take apart Kurt Angle and then, 2 weeks later he's losing to Dolph Ziggler because he was screwed. I mean, come on, bro.
Let's get to, I guess, the headline feud right now and the headline characters and what you might see as the biggest issue, because this is the top of the card. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. What would you do to improve it? What's not working? And is there anything that's working with those guys?
Matt, I cannot believe that the epicenter of the character of Dean Ambrose is you people smell. Do you know how embarrassing that is, bro? Like, do you know, just how I'm embarrassed by that. I'm embarrassed to say I'm a wrestling fan. I'm embarrassed to say I watched the show. That is embarrassing, man. That's embarrassing. I cannot, I'm watching this last night and I'm really thinking, what's going through the head of Dean Ambrose? Bro, you're going out there with a gas mask and you're telling people you're wearing it because they smell. What are you thinking? Seriously, because I'm embarrassed for the entire situation. I am embarrassed. It's embarrassing, Matt.
So let's work our way backwards here. Of course, we know you probably believe there's some fundamental issues with Dean and Seth as to why do they do what they do? Who is a Dean Ambrose? Who is a Seth Rollins? Why do we care about them? But let's kind of work backwards here. Let's say that's already established. Dean has turned on Seth. What would you do with Dean right now to make him more?
Bro, you know what I was thinking last night, Matt? I look at Dean Ambrose. First of all, let's make one thing perfectly straight. Dean Ambrose will never be a Brian Pillman. Never. Never. I think I'm safe to say there will never be another Brian Pillman. Another Brian Pillman just is not going to come along. When, as a shoot, I felt uneasy around Brian Pillman, like as a person, there's not going to be another Brian Pillman. So let's get that straight. Can I buy Dean Ambrose is the lunatic fringe? Yeah, I could buy that. He looks a little bit crazy. He's got that look in his eyes, the hairdo, like the whole 9 yards. Like I can buy that. Okay, bro? So like now you got to start asking yourself the same questions as like, why is Sasha the boss? Why is Dean Ambrose the lunatic fringe? He's not the lunatic. He's not a lunatic, bro, because he's wearing a gas mask because people smell.
And we could talk about the name too, but let's keep going. Like, so how do you establish that he is crazy?
Bro, you know what I was thinking yesterday? Because again, bro, there's no budget. You got all the money that you want to spend. I'm watching Ambrose yesterday, like, embarrass himself. And again, Dean Ambrose does not write the show. I don't know Dean. I have nothing against Dean. I kind of like Dean. You know what I'm thinking of when I'm watching this show yesterday in the gas mask, Matt? I'm thinking of the movie Saw.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the movie Saw.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Go ahead.
Let's hire a magician. Let's hire an illusionist. Let's hire whatever we have to hire. And let's literally let Dean Ambrose torture Seth Rollins. Lunatic fringe. This guy's a effing lunatic. I just think about the bear claw around the guy's foot with the hacksaw. Like I think of stuff like that. Bro, you're not shooting this in a building. You're not, these are off-site. They're creative. He somehow or another goats Seth Rollins into meeting him here or meeting him there. It's almost like the puzzler type of a thing. And then put him in situations of like freaking, bro, waterboard him. Waterboard Seth Rollins. You're going to be a lunatic, bro. Be a freaking lunatic.
I think you can get away with waterboarding. I think you could do that.
I saw that somebody did that on another show the other day. I can't remember what it was.
And so,
but that's my point, bro. Okay, bro, when you give somebody a moniker, you gotta live up to the moniker. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything, bro.
So with Seth Rollins, with Dean Ambrose, you're thinking he's the lunatic fringe. Let's go all the way with this thing. Let's show why he is what he is. And also that would explain the turn a little bit, like, oh, he's crazy. He's legit crazy, right?
Yeah. Now, bro, can you imagine acknowledging he's married to Renee?
They have.
No, but I mean, really making that part of story.
Right. Okay. So, does Renee fall in like becoming a heel announcer kind of situation?
Well, no, bro. First of all, no. And bro, listen, they're not doing her any good as an announcer, bro. It's they're not producing her, bro. And it's not her fault. I give her the credit for sitting there. It is not her fault, bro. But they've already killed her. They got to get her out of there, bro.
You don't think she's good?
Oh, bro.
Put her on a. All right. So hold on.
I love her. Okay. I love her. I love a woman in the booth, bro. It's not her fault.
Right. She's not being produced. Okay.
It's not her fault. If Bruce Pritchard right now was sitting in the gorilla position at WWE right now, right this minute. Okay, bro? And Bruce wants to work for them. And Bruce has a legacy there. And I don't want to say Bruce kisses their ass, but Bruce is a lot nicer to them than he should be.
It's fair to say, though, and that there's certain things he says and doesn't say because of his relationship with them now.
Right. Well, here's my point. If Bruce Pritchard was in that seat right now, freaking Renee would be 100 times better the commentator than she is right now. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. That's how much better Bruce Pritchard would make her. So now there is somebody not making her better. There is somebody not helping her. Who is that person? And why are they not helping her? Why are they there?
Well, Vince is still in the headsets. McMahon.
Well, then Vince, maybe you need to hand those headsets over to somebody else.
When you put Renee in a list with previous people who've held the third chair, Byron Saxton, Booker T, and of course the much maligned Coach, wouldn't you say that she's probably the best out of the four of them?
No, hell no. No, she's better than Booker.
You don't think she's better than Booker on Raw?
No, because again, I still want to be entertained. I want to be entertained, bro. You can look at JR as a straight announcer. Come on, Matt. How entertaining was JR?
Oh, JR was great, but he was a straight announcer who knew how to enhance the matches without.
But he entertained you, Matt. He entertained you with his slobber knockers and his little snide remarks. You knew it. They still have to entertain. They've got to. I'm not a big fan of Corey Graves, but Corey Graves, he entertains. He entertains you. They have to be entertainers, bro. Bro, how are you going to be a straight man when this shit is fake?
Right. And it's obvious that Corey is a really smart guy and really clever, but at the same time, he's doing the exact job they want him to do, and that's the issue we're having. Let's take it now to Seth Rollins. How should Seth Rollins... and we're going to go backwards a little bit, but let's start at the end here. In this particular feud, this is the headline feud of the number one show, of the number one company. What could Seth Rollins be instructed to do? How would you produce right for Seth Rollins to get more people interested in this character?
I swear to God, bro, they are responsible for killing all these people. That's why I say to you, Matt, it's got to be done purposely. Bro, if they're that inept and this is not being done purposely, bro, they're going to put eventually down the road. They will get back right to the financial problems that they used to be at. Bro, listen, they're making a shitload of money. Saudi Arabia, the whole 9 yards, Fox, this, that, and the other thing. Bro, what about when Fox starts working with these inept people? What about when Fox starts sitting in these meetings and really start listening to these people? So, I can't believe they're that inept, but they've killed every freaking character. I can go down the list here, bro. We could start with Bray Wyatt. We can go to Rusev. We can go to Seth Rollins. Every single one of these characters were killed by management. That's why I have to believe it was done purposely. They had Seth Rollins in a perfect position. A perfect position, bro. He turns on the Shield. Now he's with Stephanie. Now he's with Hunter.
Right.
They had him in the perfect spot.
He was good at that, right? He was good.
Very
in that
good
situation.
At that. Very good at that. Very good at that. They had him in the perfect spot. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
Well, and I was there in San Francisco, in San Jose, when Seth Rollins cashed in the Money in the Bank on the Brock Lesnar-Roman Reigns match. And that was probably the biggest pop I've ever heard in my life in that stadium. People loved that Seth Rollins heel character. But I think there was some clamoring for him to turn, more into, face, which I know you don't like. What did they do to screw up in your mind?
Okay, and Matt, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing, but how you've got to turn him face is the circumstances. It's got to be the story. Something's got to happen so we see that other side of Seth Rollins. That's how it has to happen. That's all story driven.
So it's justification as opposed to going back in time and trying to explain why, right?
Man, Matt, I love, like, I'll never forget this. It was a great moment for me personally, explaining to Austin why he had to save Stephanie from the clutches of The Undertaker. You know what I mean? That's how in depth we got with the characters. Because Austin was, Vince, never in a million years would I save Vince McMahon's daughter. I say, yeah, okay, Steve, that's fine. You say that, right? And that's the way you feel. And Vince is going to come to you for help. F you, F you, F you, F you. But then you're going to see it, bro. And you're going to see this innocent girl screaming. There is nobody, bro. Nobody that's going to help. That's when we see a side of Austin we never saw before, bro. That is a 3 freaking dimensional character. Seth Rollins now is gonna be a babyface. What did he do, bro? He went out there and cut the promo that I'm sure Vince had everything to do with. Vince, my filter. And all of a sudden it was we. And I do everything for you people. And we do this together. And it is our belt. And I was sitting there saying, like, Vince, like, when are you just going to get with it, bro? When are you going to get it? I mean, you're my filter, bro. You, the only time you got it is when me and Ed were writing the TV. When are you going to get it? This guy sold out his friends, screwed his friends, went with Triple H, went with Stephanie, went with the power, went with the money. But now, like on a dime, oh, we're together and we do this together. And this is like, give me an effing break. That's what I'm talking. He lost me right there. He lost me.
So how do you attribute the reaction he gets? Your contention is that those are the marks, those are the hardcore wrestling fans that have lowered the bar so that Seth is as good as they get, so they're going to cheer for him?
Everybody's lowered the bar, bro. Who else are they going to cheer for? They've got to cheer for somebody. You know, kids have to like somebody. Who else are they going to cheer for? They got to cheer for somebody, bro. Who else are they going to cheer for? And it's, again, let me clarify. I don't have a problem with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins doesn't write the show. Seth Rollins isn't right. But I'm begging one of these guys, Matt. I am begging one of these guys to say, like, seriously, like, you literally want me to wear a gas mask out there and tell people they smell? Like, you really want me to do that? I'm begging. I'm begging guys to start doing that. You've got to have guys. Cody Rhodes has shown you can make a freaking living without the WWE. Because, bro, here's what they're doing. They're hurting your career. You represent your brand. You go out there every week, bro. You get television time. You have to get your brand over. They are hurting your brand. Their ineptness is hurting your brand. They are costing you money. Okay, bro? And it's got freaking Austin would have done it. The Rock would have done it. Taker did it. Shawn Michaels did it.
Definitely.
Bret Hart did it. Every single one of them did it. If they didn't feel it, they told me. And I said, okay, bro, how do we change this so you feel it? How do we change this so you believe what you're saying? You can't keep saying nothing because they're going to kill your career.
So you've been really nice when it comes to talent. You've always, at least to me, talked well of every talent about how good they are and how it's all the creative. But you've also said, as far as producing, people need to be fired. Sometimes tough choices need to be made. When it comes to Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and, Dolph Ziggler and some of these other people. Do you think the WWE essentially has some people in the wrong spots?
Oh my God. Yes. I say that every week I'm going to give a cheap plug here, but on the, Russo branding, guys, you get a month free now. Go check it out. We do a Raw SmackDown review. I do it with Stevie Richards and Bin Hameen. Matt, we must say this once every 2 weeks. They have so many people in the wrong spots, bro.
There's a great book called Good to Great, and it's about organizational success, how to make an organization great. Stephen Collins, Good to Great. And he uses this analogy about a bus. If you want to go somewhere where you want to go, you want the right people in your bus, but it's essential to have the right people in the right seats. So when you talk about this specifically, how would you reshuffle the card a little bit to put the right people in the right spots, position-wise? Like, who's a headliner that maybe shouldn't be a headliner, and who's not a headliner who should definitely be a headliner?
Well, bro, let's talk about laziness. Let's talk about freaking laziness, man. And this, I swear to God, bro, all my beef with the WWE is effort. I know what it takes. I know what it takes to put on a good show. Brock Lesnar. Okay, bro, say in Brock Lesnar's contract, he only makes one appearance a month. Okay, bro? That's all fine and well. Why aren't you taping vignettes and backstage stuff with Brock Lesnar for the other 3 weeks? Why aren't you doing that, bro? He could be on every single show if you had a creative bone in your body and you weren't freaking lazy. And don't tell me it's money. Bro, you just got $18 billion from Saudi Arabia. Bro, I read yesterday Vince McMahon cashed in all his stocks. It would be $2.4 billion. So don't tell me it's a contractual thing. Okay, bro? But the fact that he's the champion and not there when you can have him represented in creative ways every single week. If you have people there that don't know how to do it, then hire people that can do it. Hire people that can. I'm going to put Bruce over again. Bruce could do that. Bruce can write you 4 weeks of what Brock Lesnar can do. I can do that. I know I can do that. That can be done. Why is that not happening? It's not happening because one of two things. You're either lazy or you're inept, and you're not capable of doing that. That is the guy. And, bro, you want to talk about Vince Russo and what I did to the WCW belt with David Arquette? At least David Arquette was on the show. You got a guy representing the belt. Everything's supposed to be about the belt, the belt, the belt. That's what everything's supposed to revolve around. The guy's not even on the show, and he can be on the show.
So that's one. Let's talk about, is there anybody who is at the top of the card that is eating up a lot of TV time that you think maybe should be in a lower position?
Well, no, I could tell you guys that are there that they're completely wasting. Freaking Bobby Lashley. He's a cartoon character now. It's a joke now. They've made him an absolute joke. I remember when I was consulting at TNA, and for whatever reason, bro, John Gaborik, another guy who thought he was a writer. We got to get the belt off Nick Aldis. And I'm like, really? Like, is he doing something wrong? And again, bro, it was all political shit backstage. He didn't like the way Nick answered, what. Oh, I'll tell you what it was, bro.
In retrospect, what a terrible move, right? Nick Aldis is a superstar.
Let me tell you what part of it was. Nick got concussed and didn't want to go out there and didn't want to work because Nick's not a moron. And they held that against him. So now we've got to take the belt off of, Nick Aldis, I was like.
Does Nick know? Does Nick know that's what happened?
I think. Oh yeah. So he wanted to put it on MVP. And Bobby Lashley was with the company. But he didn't have a long-term contract with MVP or something. Like, you didn't know if MVP was going to be there in 6 months, whatever. So I was like, bro, put it on freaking Lashley. And like, that thought hadn't even crossed his mind. And I'm like, bro, have you looked at Bobby Lashley lately? This guy should be able to kill anybody.
Absolutely. He's a monster.
Yeah, he should be able, and that should be the title run. He kills everybody, bro. Until somebody comes along that you legitimately think could give him a good fight, he kills everybody until that person comes along.
And on our Patreon site, you can check out Vince Russo booking WrestleMania, where he books an angle exactly like that in a very realistic way. And when you find out who he's facing at that WrestleMania, you say, ooh. So Bobby Lashley is someone that you feel is being wasted. I know that you're big on someone we haven't talked about yet, someone that you think might be a big part of the future along with Drew, and that is Elias. How would you, first of all, where are the mistakes with Elias? And then how would you fix it? What would you do with him?
God, bro, can I tell you something? I feel so bad for Elias because they're going to fail him. Because if they took off the handcuffs and let Elias go, bro, this guy would be huge. This guy would be Randy Savage huge. I mean that, bro. He would be Randy Savage huge. I think they know that, bro. And I think that's why they have booked him the way that they have.
What would you do with him? How would you book him right now?
Well, I mean, they've turned him babyface, so that's a good thing because the people were with him anyway. So far, bro, they haven't made him their cookie cutter babyface, and they just got to let the guy. But like again, bro, I talked about it last week. They had the opportunity to make the guy in one show, and they freaking let it get away. And it was when those three guys, it was Corbin, it was Lashley, and it was McIntyre. They laid him out in seg one. Throughout the rest of the show, bro, he should have picked those guys off one by one.
3 hours, he was gone.
You never saw him again. So now he's a normal human being. They hurt him. They hurt him, bro, and he had to go to the hospital. Wherever he had to go, they hurt him. Rather than him, shake it off, fight it off, spirit of 76, and use his intelligence to knock him off one by one. Totally missed opportunity. That would have made him. So he never got revenge for what they did to him. Bro, stay true to his character, bro. Stay true to it. He would have went after those guys last week. You got to stay true to the character.
There's a criticism that your good friend, one of your main critics, Brian Alvarez, says about Raw, that it's all heat. It's all bad guys getting over on good guys, nonstop. Every segment is just that. Every segment is and that's one definition of heat is bad guys getting over. But what is your viewpoint on?
Well, what is he watching the same show I am, or are we? Is he talking about 99? Is he talking about 99 Raw? Is he talking about this show? How did the show end last night? The babyface is up.
Yeah, the babyface.
That's how the show ended. Yeah,
right.
Dolph Ziggler beat freaking Drew McIntyre. What are you talking about? What is he watching? There's not enough heat on the show, bro. There is not enough heat. Bro, that's how it used to work, and that's a formula that will never stop working. Heat on the baby faces, heat on the baby faces, heat on the baby faces, heat on the baby faces. You tune in to watch the big show, and the baby faces get their comeback and their comeuppance. That's wrestling 101, bro. Freaking Creed beats Rocky in Rocky 1. Rocky comes back and wins in Rocky 2. That formula will never die. There isn't enough heat in wrestling.
So can you give us examples of maybe in the most recent Raw or two, what could be done to create that kind of heat?
Last night, Last night, I mean, you want to believe freaking Nia Jax can beat Ronda Rousey? It should be 4 weeks of freaking heat, bro. Heat. Now you've got everybody convinced, holy shit, maybe Nia Jax is going to win the belt tonight.
So that means
that's a perfect example. That you should have went off the show last night with heat. And by the way, too, just so I don't remember, the lunatic fringe crazy guy, he also ran away from Seth Rollins last night.
So you would say that just when we say heat, we mean 4 weeks of beat downs on Rousey would help create those big moments that are memorable for you, for a baby face.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though, Matt. It just can't be a beat down in the ring. You can't keep repeating it every week and we see the same thing. It's got to be done in other creative ways.
And what would be some of those ways if you had Nia Jax? You know, because Ronda Rousey is obviously a wasted opportunity right now for WWE, more so every week. How would you have Nia Jax get heat on Ronda Rousey? What are some ways we could do that?
Well, first of all, bro, why don't we get Ronda Rousey while she's working out? You know, why don't we have Nia Jax show up at why don't we establish that Ronda Rousey has the same training regimen? You know, when she's not on the road, she goes to the same place and she's there at every time and this, that, and the other thing, right? Okay, fine. So now it's during the week. It's a Wednesday. Oh, my God, these people actually do things outside of Monday. So she goes to where Ronda works out. Ronda's supposed to be there. Ronda's not there. How about she freaking annihilates every single person in that place? That's the message. Ronda, you should have been here, bro. This blood is on your hands. I came for you. These are innocent victims. They had nothing to do with it. Look what you've done. Look what you've done by pissing me off.
Looking across the roster, anything there that could be done just right now that you just see as obvious moves that could improve the product?
I'm going to give you a concept because it's a concept, Matt. It's a mindset. It's not one thing. It's not what should they do with Bray Wyatt. It's not that. It's a mindset. And here's the mindset, bro. And here's what needs to change. And this should have changed a long time ago. Okay, bro. The backdrop of wrestling should be based in reality. Okay, what's really going on? That should be the backdrop. Contracts. Failing drug tests, saying stuff on social media that they shouldn't have said. Who's being punished? Why are they being punished? Triple H's ego, Stephanie McMahon's ego. Is there? Does Natalya feel like Stephanie's exploiting the women's evolution? Okay, that should be the show. Real life situations. What's really going on? Bro, I've said this all the time. Remember the Larry Sanders show, Matt?
Absolutely. One of the greatest shows in the history of television.
Matt, I've been saying this since Larry Sanders, and I don't even know when Larry Sanders started. It was sometime in the 90s. I don't even know. I was saying this all the time, Matt. Everything shot backstage should be on film. And then when they go to the ring, it should be on videotape. So it's almost like, bro, you're going from real life to the show, just like they did on Larry Sanders. They went film backstage. This is real life. Then they went to the show. Okay, bro, here's the problem. They're still on the level of baby faces and heels. A concept like that is so beyond their scope of creativity that if I had this conversation with them, they wouldn't even know what I was talking about. Guys, it writes itself. It writes itself. Can you imagine if that Paige soap opera was in front of the camera? between the shooting the film, between the relationship with Alberto Del Rio. Can you imagine if that stuff played out? Stuff like that happens in wrestling every single week. Why don't you acknowledge? Why don't you acknowledge Enzo? Why don't you have Corey Graves cut a promo on Enzo? Why don't you let Corey Graves cut a promo on Enzo? Why don't you do? Is that too grown up for you?
The reality era is something that Triple H actually gave a promo on and said, we're entering the reality era. I thought it was a winning concept if they did it, considering, at the time, the Daniel Bryan situation, and if they really got into reality of the Daniel Bryan situation. But when we talk about reality-based storylines, there's been a couple attempts recently to do that. I know that you're a champion of Nia Jax embracing her breaking Becky Lynch's face. But also, there's been a couple really bad ideas as far as bringing Roman's leukemia into it, as well as Stephanie saying to Braun Strowman, I don't think we're allowed to dismember people here, when there was just the Saudi Arabia thing.
That's Vince's freaking... That's Vince's ego. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is what I'm talking about, bro. Matt, do you want to know how Roman Reigns is doing?
I do.
I do. I'm constantly combing the internet to get something. How is this guy doing? I don't understand. Why are we not following up on that? Oh, Roman Reigns has leukemia. He's going to go away now. Goodbye. I want to know how Roman Reigns is.
It could very well be a respect the privacy situation, maybe, with Roman.
Bro, Roman Reigns just cut a freaking video where he was on a football field. He went to the Georgia Tech game. He just cut a video on his own. That was the only update I saw on Roman Reigns. So obviously the guy doesn't want to be in a room out of the limelight and nobody know what's going on. He presented himself. I mean, and bro, I'm not even saying, bro, they would do that in an exploitive way. That's not what I'm talking. I really want to know. I really want to know. Bro, what about all the shit you hear behind the scenes with Brock Lesnar's contract?
Right.
Why can't we know what that is? Why can't you tell us why this guy's never on the show?
Is that, do you think, the biggest single change they can make right now is pull the curtain down?
Here's the problem, Matt. There's a couple of problems. Okay, bro, because we tried this at TNA, and eventually what happened was Jeff Jarrett got cold feet and he went back to what he knew, and that was wrestling. Okay, so here's the problem with that, bro. I'll tell you why they don't do it. There's two very good reasons. Number one, they don't know how. They wouldn't know where to start because, bro, you're going to have to work it to some extent, but you got to be smart enough to work it where people don't know you're working it. When they're in a world of baby faces and heels, they're not capable of that, bro. You might as well be talking Russian to them. And here's number two, Matt. This is what they're incapable of too. You don't know where it's going. You know what I'm saying, bro? Stuff like that, you've got to organically let write itself, and you kind of got to roll with it. They don't know where it's going, so therefore there's fear. There's fear. And they would ask you, Vince, where is this going? And I would say, bro, I don't know where it's going, but guess what? I got to watch the show every week to see where it's going. I don't know where it's going, bro. That's the beauty of it. I don't know where. You don't know where reality is going. Matt, when you stop this show today, you don't know what's going to happen the rest of your day. You don't know. We don't know. I don't know at 2 o'clock I'm going to be doing this at 3. I don't know. That's the beauty of it, bro. Okay, but you've got to have people in there that are capable of doing it. You are still at a point where you've got a lunatic running away from Seth Rollins. You got Nia Jax running away from Ronda Rousey. You are such you are at such an elementary point of writing television. I mean, literally, bro, I swear to you, high school students that are taking courses in TV writing, high school students right now could write a better show than this. No doubt in my mind.
So I think we've covered it all. I think that is the show this week where we have covered Vince Russo putting Vince McMahon through his filter, rewriting, rebooking, reprioritizing.
Bro, Vince McMahon, a 73-year-old man, Matt, starting to get out of touch. Why isn't that the story? Why don't we see Triple H and Stephanie having to – Vince is working in the back, bro, like he always worked, bro. Why are we not seeing Stephanie and Triple H like having to tell Vince the same thing like 2 or 3 times? Why aren't we seeing Vince McMahon have conversations with talent where talent's kind of looking at him saying, are you sure you – like, why aren't we seeing that, bro?
I mean, it's,
you know why? Because
they're
egos. They're freaking egos. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Matt, but if you just let this organically happen and stop with the 1970s heels, baby faces, they're going to do this and we're going to do this, and it's outdated, bro. And like I said, I'm begging you guys, see what else is on television from 8 to 11 o'clock. See what's on the other channels from 8 to – see what type of shows are on television, and you will see, holy shit, bro, we are so far. And it's become full circle, Matt, because that's why I started writing. I started writing because in 1996, they were writing like it was 1976. And I came in and all I said was, you guys got to bring this product up to speed. You got to bring it up to speed. Bro, they went right back. And here I am 20 years later saying the same thing. You guys got to bring this product back up to speed, man.
The Hulk Hogan thing, you know, like if you were to tear the curtain down on the Hulk Hogan thing, that would be amazing, right?
Amazing, bro. Bro, what about the Saudi Arabia thing? Should we go? Shouldn't we go? What about that? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, bro, do you know what the ratings would be if they, but that's another thing, Matt, they don't want to take chances. They're scared to death of the unknown. Do you know what the freaking ratings would be? What about seeing Daniel Bryan and freaking John Cena pull out of it? What about seeing that? You know what the freaking ratings would be?
It was huge.
That would be the reaction every week. Every single week. Oh, my God. Bro, do you know, remember when WCW was kicking our ass and we invaded the building and the skywriting?
Sure.
Do you know how we started, like, making a comeback? Here's how we started making a comeback, Matt. People said, oh, my God, I can't believe they're doing that. I cannot believe they're going to the WCW building. I cannot believe they're doing that. That's how it started. Like when freaking Roman Reigns said about the leukemia, I was like, holy shit, like I can't believe this. This is so outside of the realm of a fake wrestling show. Bro, that would be the response every week. Wait, John Cena doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia? I can't believe they're talking about that.
Guys, there's been a lot of talk of our Patreon getting up in those numbers with shows that have been around for a lot longer than ours. We're not going to say why, but we'd love to get past that 99 patron mark. We're at 81, and that would mean a lot to us if we could just bust that 99. This month in December, make sure to join the Russo Club and get your mug, get your hoodie, or get your t-shirt and show everybody that you're not in the wrestling bubble. And of course, check out our YouTube. We're going to have a YouTube exclusive show very soon. Vince, thank you very much for joining us and telling us your thoughts. I hope maybe people now can see you in a different light as far as a creative person and maybe not just go, oh, it's Vince Russo. I'm hoping that is the outcome of this.
Well, yeah, I mean, just 2 last things quick. I want to remind everybody too, bro, please, guys, if you've never tried out the brand, you could do it now for free. Just go to russosbrand.com for the month of December. You'll get a free month, bro. You'll get a free month. You could try us out. No long-term commitment. Matt, I want to make one thing perfectly clear, because this has not changed with me from my first day working for the WWE. I grew up a wrestling fan. I love the wrestling genre. I was very entertained by the world of wrestling. Okay, bro? I wanted more people to see and experience what I enjoyed. Okay, bro? I did not want people to laugh at professional wrestling. I did not want people to look down their nose at professional wrestling. You know, my goal always was to get as many people to watch wrestling as possible, because when done right, professional wrestling can be really, really, really good. There's nothing else. There's no other form out there like it. When done right, it could be really good. My biggest, the thing I hate the most is when people laugh at our business. Even though I am not working there today, I carry the same philosophy. I hate when people laugh at our business. Shame on us when we create situations for them to laugh at us. I want as many people to watch wrestling as possible. Do you not understand, people? The more people that watch wrestling, the more successful Matt and I are, the more successful the brand is, because that audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So everything I say is motivated by, I want this to be as good as it possibly can be. I want as many people to watch this as I possibly can. That's the motivation. It's not I hate the WWE. I hate Vince McMahon. I hate all these guys. I'm bitter because I'm not working that. No, bro. I am a wrestling fan. I want to be proud of what we do. I want 10 million people to be watching this again. That's why I get so passionate about it, bro. Bro, I don't have a horse in the race. So personally, I don't give a shit what you do. What you do does not affect me. I don't have a horse in the race. However, I know how great this can be. And I'm going way back before the Attitude Era, bro. Well, I'm not saying, this could be as great as the Attitude Era. Bro, before the Attitude Era was better than the Attitude Era. Okay, I know how great this can be. But you guys piss me off when I can watch a show and I am like, the effort is not there, bro. What are you guys doing? Care about this. I'm begging you, care about this. That's it, bro.